Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla's huge Model Y price drop, the new hardware required for full self-driving, new software features that are optional, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, a new program from Tesla is officially launching to anyone that wants it, and it's their early access program for full self-driving updates. This is something that Tesla has actually had in the past, but it was very limited in its capacity, and it kind of was more exclusive. Now it's actually something you can request to be a part of within the Tesla app. Tesla officially calls this the FSD Supervised Early Access Program and says, enroll to experience early features before they're widely released. Provide your feedback and related vehicle data to help make the next release our best yet. Note, every driver is responsible for remaining alert and must be prepared to take action at any time. So the things you do have to accept here is that Tesla can review historical vehicle data, and then while enrolled, you consent to the collection of detailed VIN-associated vehicle data, including GPS location, external camera data, and cabin camera image data. Those are definitely some specific things that not everyone will want to agree to, and that's why this is a program that you can request to be a part of. The other thing to keep in mind is that you are beta testing earlier versions, so you are probably going to see more issues than the average FSD release. For most owners that have got this already, it pops up within the Tesla app in a very obvious location, but I haven't received this option yet within my Tesla app, but I'm hoping to get it soon. It seems like so far it's just cars that use Tesla's AI4 system, or Hardware 4. So that means the latest refreshed Model 3, the Model Y going back a few years, and then the Model S and X also going back a few years, along with the Cybertruck. Once you're actually a part of this program, you have a new early access button that appears at the bottom of the Tesla page in the app, and it shows your enrollment status and gives you the option to leave the program. That's definitely a good option for many who maybe will decide they don't want to be a part of this. I know that I've done that with Mac updates in the past, where I want to get the latest developer beta or public beta, but then I kind of regret it because of all the bugs I'm presented with. It's usually not too bad, but sometimes there's a bug in a specific location you use a lot that you wish you didn't have. And so you want to downgrade, and Tesla does seem to make that pretty easy here. We'll have to see how that actually works though, because it might not be too big of a deal to get the latest early access version of full self-driving, meaning it will probably be exciting to test the new features before the general public, but bugs might actually not be present enough to the point where it makes you want to leave this program. So that's a feature that will only affect those with full self-driving that then get this option with the app and have Hardware 4. But an option that will be coming to all Tesla drivers, and especially those that utilize Tesla insurance, is the new updated safety score version 2.2. In most states that offer Tesla insurance, the safety score is actually what determines your insurance rate overall. The safety score uses vehicle data to see how safely you're driving and actually gives you a little bit of a bonus if you're using programs like full self-driving and autopilot quite frequently. Of course, it's not a perfect system though, and Tesla is always improving this, and then this is something you can sign up for even if you don't have Tesla insurance. You just have to turn it on within the Tesla app. You'll see an option under the main options that says Safety Score Beta, and then you can join. The main scoring factors that you see here are hard braking, aggressive turning, unsafe following, excessive speeding, late night driving, forced autopilot disengagement, and unbuckled driving. All of these have very specific criteria, and then they have now updated these options to have a more accurate assessment of your future collision risk based on over 23 billion miles of driving data, and then excessive speeding is now measured as a proportion of driving time in excess of 85 miles per hour or speeding in relation to vehicles in front of you. It's always interesting to see what your safety score is, and then for those utilizing Tesla insurance in states outside of California, this actually does impact your premium. So those are some of the latest software features and programs that Tesla has been delivering in their app, and they're both pretty interesting because they're both somewhat optional. But they do provide quite a lot of information and can give you the latest features a little early. Next up today, the new Model Y has been out for some time now, but only in its original launch series edition, which started at $59,990. Now, Tesla has officially massively dropped the initial price of the Model Y long-range all-wheel drive down to $48,990, and it's available to order today. This is now the only trim available to order in the United States. Its long-range all-wheel drive has a range of 327 miles, a top speed of 125, and a 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. So that price again is $48,990, which is a $1,000 price increase over the previous Model Y long-range all-wheel drive. That's not too bad considering all of the options here, and I do expect that it probably will come down a little bit in time, or they'll at least offer something like the referral discount. For now, that discount is not available on this new version of the Model Y. If you qualify for the federal EV tax credit, that price goes down to $41,490. So ultimately, this is a huge price drop for this car with or without the tax credit. We're looking at about $11,000 cheaper for the new version of the Model Y over the launch series. Now, of course, that launch series was a decent price considering the options that you got. If you already were planning to get those options, it can add up and make that launch series actually look pretty good. $8,000 for full self-driving, up to $2,000 for a paint option, wheel options, interior options, and more could get you over that price and be worth more than $11,000 worth of upgrades. However, if you just wanted the normal options that come with the car, this car is now $11,000 cheaper, which is great for everything it offers. Before we go any further, I'd like to mention a product that's great for new Tesla owners and Tesla owners who have had their cars for a while. Tesla's included floor mats are just not that great. Usually they come with carpet floor mats, or they don't come with floor mats at all if it's a base model, even though they're still fairly expensive. So those floor mats will wear out quick, but the best option here is all-weather floor mats. The best choice I've found after years of trying different floor mats come from 3D Maxpider. They make all sorts of floor mats for all of Tesla's vehicles. They fit snug, they're durable, and are soft, unlike traditional rubber mats. So instead of water pooling in these mats, they'll trap moisture effectively in all of the different ridges. I've used these in the Model Y, Model 3, Cybertruck, Rivian R1T, and more, and they work incredibly well. You simply vacuum or wipe them down with interior spray. Their new ELATEC version also features deeper channels, higher sidewalls, and improved design for better protection, but what I love is the full set that includes 12 mats that cover the footwells, trunk, understorage, side cubbies, and front trunk bin. The big one here, though, is the seat back mats included in the Model Y. This means that when you fold down those rear seats to store large cargo in there, you are not at all damaging those seats. The full set for all of these cars is linked below, but you can also get these in different configurations for whatever you may prefer. As for the lease price, it's $499 per month, and then there are a few different options to the paint. You have 6 paint options on the new Model Y, and Tesla just changed the black paint to a diamond black. They actually posted a video about this new color, featuring it and talking about how it's only available on the Model 3 and Model Y in North America. It's a deep jet black with variations of sparkle and refined flake appearance. It's $1,500 as an upgrade there, and definitely something that will stand out over previous versions of their black color. So now you have the option for stealth gray, which is included, pearl white multicoat for $1,000, deep blue metallic for $1,000, diamond black for $1,500, ultra red for $2,000, and quicksilver for $2,000. Lately, Tesla has been doing a lot to change up their paint colors. They're still a lot largely the same, like this diamond black is still fairly similar to black. Ultra red was fairly similar to the red before, but it does stand out when you really look at them side by side, so it's a great way to refresh these cars. I think the most exciting car from them is Quicksilver because it's actually much different than they have shipped for years. In any case, you have those 19-inch wheels, which offer that full range, and those are included, and then the 20-inch Helix wheels are $2,000 extra and drop the range to 303 miles. The tow hitch is $1,000, and then the black and white interior is $1,000. Because we know that production has been well underway on this non-launch series trim, this car is available in 1 to 3 weeks when you order. So if you want to get one soon, you definitely can do that. Production has been underway at Giga Texas and is growing, as well as Fremont. Now, this is definitely a purposeful technique on Tesla's part, the fact that they started with a launch series, the most expensive version, and now they're introducing only the long-range all-wheel drive version. Soon enough, though, we will see the rear-wheel drive version. We'll know in advance because drone footage will show the new Model Y without a badge on the back coming out of the factory. That will indicate that it's rear-wheel drive because there's no dual motor badge. Given the pricing of the Model Y long-range all-wheel drive as well, this will probably come in at $45,990, a $1,000 price increase over the previous version, unless Tesla decides to totally change their strategy here. I think they'll probably keep that same strategy though, because that was a very popular trim and actually offered the longest range that you could get on the Model Y. It was kind of funny because it was the cheapest option, but it was the best range. For now though, if you want to get this new Model Y, it's only available in dual motor configurations, and it's a great configuration overall. But hopefully in a few months as well, we will see the performance Model Y make its debut. I still anticipate that that will come after the rear-wheel drive Model Y is available, but it will probably bring some differences just like they did with the Model 3 performance refresh. But the more exciting news for many might be that Tesla is actually planning to launch cheaper vehicles later this year. It could be a pared-down Model Y, but Tesla's communication has been that it will arrive within the first half of the year. Rumors in China have said that this is codenamed E41 and that might actually come in 2026 and that it will cost 20% less to build. However, other reports have said that Tesla is simply planning a stripped-down Model Y, much like they did with the Model 3 in Mexico. Over in Mexico, that Model 3 is available and includes things like a textile interior, no rear screen, and more, and it was able to bring the price down of the standard range version of that car. So these reports say, compared with the current Model Y, the new car's battery, power, chassis, and other parts have basically not changed much. It is developed through the Depop method, and this is a method that allows Tesla to quickly launch products by simplifying configurations, but keeping the car largely the same. So yes, we're expecting a normal rear-wheel drive long-range Model Y with all of the interior options, basically with the exception of the upgraded stereo. But later this year, we may see one with some pared-down options, no rear screen, textile interior, maybe a change to the rear light bar, and more. In fact, drone footage may have already found a rear-wheel drive being produced at Giga Texas, so it seems like it could be another matter of weeks before that car is then available to order. But of course, Tesla doesn't want to mention anything quite yet, so that they can push people to get dual motor in the meantime. We'll see how this all develops, but we could see Tesla's strategy get even more differentiated between the United States and China. Over in China, there's fierce EV competition, even though the Model Y did appear to do quite well there in March. But Tesla now has 0% APR deals for that very Model Y, so it seems like they do need some incentives to drive sales. In the US, however, we have the Elon effect. Even though competition at scale is still pretty limited, the Model Y is still probably the best EV option out there in the United States. And then there is some competition in that space, some at lower pricing, some with better range and whatnot, but as an overall product and one that is widely available, it still holds the lead. But of course, Tesla's reputation is a little hurt right now. Then soon enough, we should get that performance model. But the future of Tesla really lies in self-driving. Of course, these Model Ys now have that front bumper camera, and they have the latest Tesla self-driving hardware. All cars that Tesla ships now come with Hardware 4 or AI hardware. But the question has remained, what about Tesla's older cars? Tesla has long promised that FSD would arrive on all cars regardless of their hardware. At least back to a certain date when they said, quote, all Tesla cars produced now have full self-driving hardware. Conveniently, that blog post has since been deleted, and that's because Tesla has seemed to notice that they need the latest hardware in order to achieve any sort of unsupervised self-driving. On a recent earnings call, Elon was pretty clear about this, that Hardware 4 would be required, and that they would upgrade Hardware 3 customers when unsupervised FSD is fully achieved. That's great, however, many Hardware 4 cars don't actually have this front bumper camera. Still today, the Model 3 ships with Hardware 4 but no front bumper camera, and now the Model Y and Cybertruck have that camera, and so does the Robotaxi. That's where it really seems to matter. That's the product that really points out that this is probably necessary for unsupervised self-driving. In the Robotaxi, they're not putting any sensors or any cameras there just for the customer. They're only putting things there that are necessary for self-driving. There's no reason that a customer would want to pull up that front camera on a car that has no steering wheel or pedals. So in this case, it must be necessary for Tesla's self-driving system. And the rumors here are that this is Hardware 5 or AI 5. And as such, Tesla is out there testing other variations of this. This past week, a new Model 3 was spotted, a test mule with Robotaxi camera locations on it. However, it was spotted in northeastern parts of the United States, which is a little unusual in areas like Boston. Usually we see this in areas like California or Texas, where Tesla has most of their presence, but they are testing it in other parts of the United States. So it makes many wonder, is this Tesla's AI 5 system, and is this something that is going to become necessary on their other vehicles in order to achieve unsupervised self-driving? I think it's pretty clear that that front bumper camera will be necessary, and upgrading customers from Hardware 3 to Hardware 4 with a front bumper camera would be a pretty involved task. It's not just swapping a couple cameras, it's actually adding an entire camera and actually routing it. So maybe this is simply a way for Tesla to collect some more convenient data on the Cybercab without actually having to have that product out there. That's what they did before the event, so it seems very likely. But it's definitely interesting to see a Model 3 here testing for unsupervised self-driving with a front bumper camera. It seems that it will be necessary, and that will be a very interesting upgrade to see how Tesla handles. If all goes according to plan, Tesla should offer unsupervised self-driving rides in June of this year. So far, we think that that's going to probably be updated Model Ys with the latest hardware running the latest software, but many are hopeful that the actual robotaxi itself will make an appearance as well. What remains to be seen is if those rides will truly be unsupervised or if there will be a backup driver. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Over at Kia, the EV6 and EV9 have now entered full capacity production at Kia's West Point, Georgia factory. This is a pretty significant step in Kia's offerings of electric vehicles in the United States in particular, and sales have been performing well for both of those cars. In fact, in Q1 of 2025, Kia sold 3,756 units of the EV9 and 3,373 units of the EV6. This actually was a slight decrease compared to the same period last year, but things are expected to increase from here with this new plant. Not only is it more localized and possibly making it eligible for tax credits, but it could bring down cost as well. Kia themselves do anticipate local production enhancing EV sales growth in the US, and they plan to leverage Hyundai's upcoming Meta plant, America, in Georgia to further expand EV and hybrid production capabilities. In particular, these factories will help Kia to be eligible for tax credits and then also avoid these new tariffs that are now in place for all vehicles. In general, that's great news for these cars, and they are really great electric vehicles. In some ways, they're not as technologically advanced as Tesla's vehicles, and you can really tell that in a software perspective. But for many customers, they simply want to use Apple CarPlay and have a great range, and these cars absolutely offer that. The EV9 in particular is very versatile, has a lot of great options, and is that square boxy 3-row SUV that a lot of Americans love. I anticipate that car doing incredibly well into the future here. Over at Toyota and Subaru in Q1, they saw good performance as well. Toyota sold 5,610 bZ4X units in Q1 of 2025, which was a 195.7% increase from 1,897 units in Q1 of 2024. March sales reached 1,678 units, which were more than doubled of 827 units sold in March of 2024. Overall, Toyota sold more cars here. These are still small numbers in general, but it's impressive, and they did this in part by reducing prices. The price of the bZ4X dropped by about $6,000, which lowered the base price to just over $38,000. Overall, that's a great starting price, especially from a brand that many people trust. Many people love their Toyota and maybe want to go electric, and this is that offering at a good price. On top of that, the bZ4X has seen quite a bit of enhancement since it was originally launched. When it originally launched, it had a lot of questionable specs, and then it had issues with the wheels falling off and such, but all of that has been fixed. It has new batteries with extended range, they increased the power in the dual motor versions, the interior saw improvements, and they improved things like battery preconditioning with advanced route planning. Then over at Subaru, the Solterra kind of gets roped in with this because those cars are built on the same platform, and the Subaru Solterra is essentially just a rebadged bZ4X. It's a little different in some Subaru ways, but in general, it's basically the same car. The Solterra sold 3,131 units in Q1 of 2025, which also was a 172.9% increase from 1,147 units in Q1 of 2024. Similarly, this is in part due to price cuts there of up to $7,000, and the base model starts just under $40,000 with standard dual motor all-wheel drive. That's kind of a signature Subaru thing. So there are more and more EV options coming to the United States, and they are growing in popularity. It is important to see the difference in the numbers here when we're talking about 3,000 versus 300,000 cars sold. But it's great to see more options becoming available and see that people are actually deciding to purchase them. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see a breakdown on Tesla's recent sales, which were lower than expected, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.